Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of Infinitode 2. So let's continue with the Tower Guide series. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at the Flamethrower. And as always, we're gonna analyze the main stats, the abilities, the main strengths and weaknesses of this tower, how to best use it, how to best place it. And then at the very end of the video, we're gonna also analyze research and endless research. So let's jump here, level 1.1 as always. And let's see, the base cost is going to be 86 coins. Of course, remember guys, I have all the towers, I have normal research maxed, and therefore the base cost is reduced. But now if we just compare it, we can see that it's the same cost of minigun, and it's pretty expensive. Like 86 coins is not something that no, it's not like cannon or freezing, it's more expensive. And now the game description is ignites enemies in groups of any density. So we can find the first feature of this tower, the fact that this tower doesn't have a cap in terms of how many enemies it can damage at the same time, as long as they are grouped together and they are going to be attacked by the flames, by the basic attacks. They're going to be receiving the damage. Out of the 5 stats, we can see that range, it's pretty low, 2 out of 5. Attack speed and crowd damage, very high, 5 out of 5. Damage, pretty high, 4 out of 5. And then agility, again, only 2 out of 5. Effectiveness against enemies, this tower deals 50% more damage to Venom, IC, and Fighter enemies. It deals normal amount of damage to regular, fast, light, and bosses. It deals 50% of damage to strong enemies. 25% of damage to armored. And then we find the main weaknesses of this tower. The fact that it will not be able to damage and target in any way flying enemies. So you can see here the 0, and also healers. So this tower cannot damage 3 different enemy types. So if we try to build it, we can just see the basic range right here. If we just compare it with a basic tower, you can see the range being slightly larger, but not by much. And also, this tower has very few stats. It's a tower that has the lowest amount of stats in the whole game. We only have 4 stats: range, damage, rotation speed, and then we have the passive, the special stat, that is burning time. And that is because of the fact that this tower deals damage instantly. So when the enemies are going to be entering inside this range and the tower is going to rotate and it's going to just aim, the damage is instantaneous. There is no delay. And also another thing is that the tower doesn't have attack speed, and that is because the damage is going to be continuously done. So as long as the enemies are going to be attacked by the basic burning attack, then they're going to be receiving damage. So there is not attack speed because the damage is going to be continuously output, so a continuous output. And now I'm gonna just spawn here the first wave so that you guys can see. So that's the rotation speed, and this is the attack. Now this attack is very peculiar because the attack is in an arc size, so it's a cone of damage. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the cone. So enemies are going to be receiving damage in the cone. And you can see that the tower deals actually 2 different types of damage. You do damage when you hit the enemies with the basic flames, alright? And then you can see here the debuff. So when enemies are hit by the basic flames, they're gonna be ignited. And they're gonna also take every second the damage over time effect. So you do this damage that you see right here, you do it twice. You do it when you hit the enemies, and then every second that they are attacked by the basic flames, and then also the damage over time by burning. And you can see here that how much the burning lasts is gonna be defined by this number right here. That is the special stat of the tower. And yeah, so this tower deals pretty high amount of damage already by default. Now here, going through the abilities, the first ability is gonna just increase the damage the enemies take from the basic flames. You can see here, direct fire. So it's not the damage from burning, it's only the damage from the direct fire. Second ability is going to increase the burning time, so how much the burning lasts, or it's going to increase the percentage of slow. In order to understand this, we have to look at the third ability, this one right here. Now, in this case, it gives more damage to the tower, but in this case, the freezing, the burning is replaced with the freezing. So the tower slows down enemies. It doesn't ignite them anymore. It doesn't cancel freezing. So in this way, you are slowing down enemies rather than burning them. You are slowing them. And therefore, that's why here you can increase even further the slow percentage by going with this ability right here. Then level 10, we have this ability that you unlock freely. In this case, it's range increase and arc size increase. So the tower just has a little bit more range, 12% more range, and in this case 55% more arc size. So arc size is the width of the cone of attack. Could you see it there at the beginning as I showed you? So this means that the size of attack becomes larger, and therefore you can hit more enemies. So that's pretty much how it works. And then lastly, level 20, you can decide to either go for the ultimate or to go for 10% more power. So power increases, in this case, all the stats other than range and the special stats. So, well, in this case of this tower, it's going to only be damage and rotation speed that are increased with more power. And the ultimate. Now, the ultimate, it's pretty good. It's not super good, but it's pretty good, especially early on, or if you need more green papers. Because you can see that you're going to instantly kill any enemy in direct fire that has less than a certain threshold of HP. And these enemies killed in this way are going to be dropping green papers, so bonus green papers. And this percentage right here increases with the upgrade level of the tower. So you can see that here is upgrade level 0. If I get it upgrade level 1, you can see that now it's 1.58%. Then 1.96, 2.34, and so on. So the more upgrade levels you have, the higher the threshold becomes, and therefore you can, I think that at level 10, you can kill like enemies with less than 5% HP. So yeah, that's how it works. And just remember that it's only enemies in direct fire. So if you kill enemies with the burning, you're not going to be receiving the green papers, and you're not going to be one-shotting them. So that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to just play here once this full level, so in that way we can analyze the tower main strengths and weaknesses. So the first weakness of this tower is the fact that, well, it cannot attack healers and flying enemies, but then it doesn't work well with freezing. And that is because burning, as we have discussed already, removes freezing. So it removes the slow. So if you place a freezing tower and a burning, you can see that you can still have a slow, but it's only 33% as effective. So with the changes in the 1.8 update, now you can have a little bit of a slow and a burning at the same time, but this slow is much less. So you could slow, like if I upgrade here this tower a little bit more, so can you see that the enemies are actually a lot slower, and then when they are ignited, they start moving faster because the slow become less effective. So that's the second weakness in my opinion, because this slow is very important in this game. I think that it's one of the best debuffs, and therefore having a tower that cancels it is pretty bad, right? Now there is a way where you can synergize well freezing and Flamethrower by using this ability, because in this way you can completely remove the burning, so you don't have to worry anymore about not slowing down the enemies anymore. You can keep on slowing them down, but remember that this removes a lot of the damage that the tower does, because most of the damage that this tower is, yes, from the basic you know, cone of flame damage, but also from the burning. So if you remove the burning, you remove all that second part of damage from the damage over time effect. So yes, it can be better to synergize with freezing, but at the same time remember that you can stack the slow. So you can stack the slow from freezing and the slow from Flamethrower. So only the freezing with the highest percentage is going to be applied. So if with freezing you have like 65%, and with Flamethrower you have, in this case you can have a maximum of 47%, you're only going to be applying 65% because it's the highest of the two. So it's pretty much like if you wouldn't have the Flamethrower, you wouldn't be slowing the enemies down anymore, by any more. So it's just the damage that you end up doing. So yeah, it depends on the strategy that you're going. The Flamethrower is a pretty good tower to farm custom maps on, because if you can choose a portal that doesn't have healers, you can then just use abilities for the flying enemies, and then you can damage pretty decently all the other enemy types. So that's of course a help. And yeah, so just remember about this feature of the Flamethrower. So depending on what you prefer to build, like if you want to build the Flamethrower as a supporting tower, you can just avoid going with freezing at all. You can just go with cold fire right here, and then you can choose. You can see that now the flames are blue, and you can then choose between going with even more slow or with going with more damage on the basic attacks. You can see that here the direct fire damage increases. So depending on what you need, you can go with this, or you can go with more freeze. So I'm gonna just show you here the increased freeze. You can see the enemies now are slowed by more. And yeah, so that's it. Now, how to best place this tower? You wanna place it pretty close to the portal, or that at least it can attack the enemies as soon as they come out, because in that way you're gonna be either able to slow them down, like in this case, or if I just start a new game, you can just go for raw damage, right? You can just go for the first ability right here, and you can go with more burning time. So in that way you do more damage with the direct fire, and also burning lasts more. So it's just two completely different options of building up the Flamethrower, either damage or support. So it just depends up to you what you prefer to do, depending on the map, depending on your strategy. And therefore I just recommend to place the Flamethrower not too close to the beginning. You want to place it like so that it can attack the enemies almost as they come out, but don't place it like here, because then if the enemies get past, then you're going to be attacking in the wrong direction, so you're not going to be able to apply the burning from the enemies that are exiting. So like for example, this position right here could be already pretty decent. And then another thing is the targeting. Don't leave this tower on first, leave it on either random or nearest, because in that way you can really maximize the burning effect, because by attacking different enemies you can just set them on fire, and therefore you can just keep on burning them. So you don't have to worry about always attacking the first enemy. You can just attack different enemies. And yeah, you can just exploit bad burning. So I just recommend, especially random, I think is one of the best ones for this tower. And yeah, so again, close or further away from the path is pretty much the same. If you place a Flamethrower here, of course, it's gonna need to rotate more. So if you don't have much rotation speed, you might lose some potential damage that you can do. But I think that any tile can be good for this tower. Just remember not to place it like too close towards the base, where it can't attack the enemies as they come out, because that's gonna just be wasting damage, wasting time where you can, you know, damage and burn them. And then the ultimate here, I don't even think you can actually see it well. I'm gonna try to show it to you, but it's pretty hard to see, because it's gonna be very low threshold, like 5% HP. It's so low that yeah, you cannot really see it well. You know, you're gonna be able to destroy those enemies anyway with either the burning or the direct fire. So at the end of the day, It's you can't even see it, but the green paper bonus, it can be pretty good. So that's of course a plus. But most of the times, like for any good strategies, I just recommend going for more power, because you just get more damage in this way. And remember that more damage increases both the direct fire damage and also the burning damage. So that's why between the two, even if you can get extra green papers because of this, I just recommend going with more power. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think that summarizes well this tower. Now research, of course, as all the other towers, you can just increase all the different stats, reduce the cost, the base cost, burning time, all the abilities. You can just increase everything. And on endless research, you don't gain any new abilities. You can see here that there isn't a new ability or anything that you can get. The only thing is that you can increase the abilities further. So the upgrade levels are going to be higher, and you can see that here I have already maxed some, but all the abilities as well can be increased further. But yeah, no new abilities are going to be unlocked even on endless. And that's it. So that's this tower. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see ya. Bye bye.